Hey everybody, today let's talk some more about pacing and specifically about montage. Montage is a film technique that we can borrow and use in our manuscripts. It's a technique that was invented by Russian filmmakers in the last century, specifically Sergei Eisenstein in his great film Battleship Potemkin. Eisenstein and the Russian filmmakers felt that by juxtaposing one shot next to another shot and another shot is more powerful than actually just having a singular shot that conveys everything. It's a cognitive event that has more impact on the viewer. And for us, this can work with our manuscripts. But first, let's think about some films we might know. Like you take the Rocky franchise and the Creed franchise, where the boxer Rocky Balboa or Creed's son, they go through training sequences where they get their determination. They go from not being ready to fight to being ready to fight. An event that can take months, if not years. But, there's a compression of time with the montage. And you could also play with the time, have it sort of go back and forth in a certain way. Another example is the great film Breakfast Club, where the kids in high school spend a day in detention. And about, more than halfway through the movie, the kids who don't particularly like each other become united. So you see segments where they start drumming on the desk, they start playing around, joking with each other, smoking a joint, and running around in the hallways, avoiding the angry teacher moderator who's keeping them in detention for that Saturday. So, montage can be a very powerful technique for us. And here's an example of montage from the great book, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. At such a time, I found out for certain that this bleak place overgrown with nettles was the churchyard, and the Philip Pripp, late of the parish, and also Georgina, wife of the above, were dead and buried, and that Alexander, Bartholomew, Abraham, Tobias, and Roger, infant children of the aforesaid, were also dead and buried, and that the dark flat wilderness beyond the churchyard, intersected with dikes and mounds and gates, with scattered cattle feeding on it, with the marshes and the low-laden line beyond the river, and that the distant savage lair from which the wind was rushing was the sea, and that the small bundle of shivers, growing afraid of it all and beginning to cry, was Pip. "Hold your noise!" cried a terrible voice, as a man started up from among the graves at the side of the church porch. "Keep still, you little devil, or I'll slit your throat." A fearful man, all in coarse gray, with a great iron on his leg, a man with no hat, and with broken shoes, and with an old rag tied around his head, a man who had been soaked in water, and smothered in mud, and lamed by stones, and cut by flints, and stung by nettles, and torn by briars, who limps, and shivered, and glared, and growled, and whose teeth chattered in the head as he seized me by the chin. So try montage yourself and see if you can use it in your manuscript to help you with your pacing.